Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Alaskan bush people, Gabe Brown pouts after doctor visit. Alaskan bush people star Gabe Brown showed off his best sad puppy expression as he pouted for the camera following a recent doctor visit. The photo featured the Discovery Channel personality with a dramatic pouty expression as he sat on an examining table and highlighted the space-themed band-aid on his arm. What brought Alaskan bush people star Gabe Brown to the doctor? And what happened to his arm? Fortunately, he was kind enough to explain what was going on to his 233K Instagram followers. So keep reading for the scoop. Gabe Brown's recent Instagram post suggested things got a little dicey when he stepped on something questionable that sent him to the doctor to get a tetanus shot. Despite having a massive pout on his face in the photo he shared, his caption revealed getting the shot didn't hurt very much. The Alaskan bush people star said the kind nurse told him his massive biceps were ultimately the reason why his tetanus shot didn't really hurt. He concluded his post wondering if he would ever be more careful about watching where he was stepping to avoid needing to get this shot in the first place. In the comments, Bear Brown was quick to call Gabe a copycat, suggesting he also found himself in a situation recently that required getting a tetanus shot to prevent infection. His followers praised him for making a responsible choice. Many noted that getting the shot doesn't hurt nearly as bad as stepping on something that requires getting the shot. Some of his fans, however, simply expressed concern and wanted to know he was all right. There were, however, some people in the comments of his post that were not nearly as supportive of his decision as they blasted him for letting the doctor inject various poisons into his body. Gabe Brown of Alaskan bush people trudged through the dense Alaskan forest, the thick underbrush crunching under his boots. The air was crisp, with a hint of pine and earth mingling in the breeze. Gabe's mind, however, was a whirlwind of frustration and disappointment. He had just returned from a visit to the only doctor in miles, a grizzled man whose small clinic stood at the edge of town. The visit had been routine, but Gabe's heart was heavy. The doctor's stern words echoed in his mind, a relentless reminder of his fragile health. "You need to take it easy, Gabe," the doctor had said, his voice grave. "Your body can't handle the strain you're putting it through." Gabe kicked a fallen branch out of his way, his brow furrowed in a deep pout. He knew the doctor was right, but the words stung nonetheless. Living in the Alaskan wilderness wasn't for the faint-hearted. It required strength, endurance, and an unyielding spirit. Gabe had always prided himself on his resilience, on his ability to weather any storm, but now he felt as though a dark cloud was hanging over him. He arrived back at the family's homestead, a cluster of rustic cabins and makeshift structures nestled in a clearing. His family was busy with their daily chores, each member immersed in their own tasks. His brother Bear was chopping wood with a determined rhythm, the sound echoing through the trees. His sister Rain was tending to the garden, her hands skillfully plucking weeds and tending to the vegetables that would sustain them through the harsh winter. Gabe's wife, Raquel, saw him first. She paused, wiping her hands on her apron, and approached him with a concerned look. "How did it go?" she asked softly, her eyes searching his face. Gabe forced a smile, but it didn't reach his eyes. "The same old lecture," he said with a shrug, trying to sound nonchalant. "Take it easy, don't overdo it." Raquel frowned, reaching out to touch his arm. "You should listen to him, Gabe. We need you healthy." Gabe sighed, running a hand through his dark hair. "I know, Raquel. It's just hard. I feel useless if I can't pull my weight around here." Raquel's expression softened. "You're not useless, Gabe. You're our rock. We need you whether you're chopping wood or just being here with us." Gabe nodded, though his heart still felt heavy. He knew his family depended on him, but the thought of being a burden weighed on him. He turned his gaze towards the mountains in the distance, their snow-capped peaks glistening in the sunlight. The wilderness had always been his sanctuary, a place where he felt alive and free. The idea of being confined, of having to slow down, felt like a prison. He took a deep breath, letting the cool air fill his lungs. "I'll try, Raquel," he said finally, his voice steady. "I'll try to take it easy." Raquel smiled, leaning in to kiss his cheek. "That's all I ask, Gabe. Just try." As the day went on, Gabe found himself struggling to follow the doctor's advice. Every task, no matter how small, felt like a test of his willpower. He helped Bear stack the firewood, the repetitive motion soothing his troubled mind. He joined Rain in the garden, their quiet conversation a welcome distraction from his worries. But as the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the homestead, Gabe's frustration bubbled to the surface again. He retreated to the edge of the clearing, his thoughts a tangled mess. The sound of the river nearby was a constant murmur, a reminder of the untamed beauty of the land he called home. Gabe sat on a fallen log, staring at the rushing water. He felt a deep connection to this place, to the wildness that coursed through his veins. But now that connection felt fragile, threatened by his own body's limitations. He clenched his fists, his jaw set in determination. "I won't let this beat me," he muttered to himself. "I'll find a way to keep going." The sound of footsteps behind him made him turn. It was his father, Billy, the patriarch of the Brown family. Billy's face was lined with years of hard living, but his eyes were sharp and full of wisdom. "Mind if I join you?" Billy asked, his voice gentle. Gabe nodded, and Billy sat down beside him. They sat in silence for a moment, the only sound the rushing river and the distant calls of birds. "I know what the doctor said," Billy began, his tone thoughtful. "And I know how you're feeling right now, but you're stronger than you think, Gabe. You've got the heart of a warrior." Gabe looked at his father, his expression a mix of gratitude and frustration. "It's just hard to accept, Dad. I feel like I'm letting everyone down." Billy shook his head. "You're not letting anyone down, son. We all have our struggles. What matters is how we face them. And I know you'll face this with the same courage you've always shown." Gabe's resolve hardened, his father's words igniting a spark of determination in him. He knew the road ahead would be challenging, but he was ready to face it head-on. He would find a balance, a way to honor his body's limits while still contributing to his family and the land he loved. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Gabe stood up, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. He turned to his father, a small smile playing on his lips. "Thanks, Dad. I needed that." Billy clapped him on the shoulder. "Anytime, Gabe. We're in this together." Gabe returned to the homestead, his heart lighter. He knew there would be tough days ahead, but with his family by his side and the strength of the wilderness in his soul, he was ready to face whatever came his way.